Injury Prevention. Module 5. Stepping Hazards. Welcome to the Injury Prevention course, Module 5. Stepping Hazards. The objective of this course is to increase employees' awareness of injury risks encountered daily in the work environment and provide the tools and techniques necessary to avoid these injuries. By the end of this lecture, you will have a good understanding of stepping hazards and risks, and you will learn the methods and techniques to prevent injuries. When we talk about stepping, we're really just describing the basic mechanics of how we move, whether we're walking, running, climbing, or jumping. At its simplest, it's just the act of placing one foot firmly before lifting the other to move in any direction. Now, most of the time, we don't even think about it, but every so often, we slip or trip and lose our footing. Usually, we're able to catch ourselves and recover our balance. But as we know, that's not always the case. When we can't recover, we fall, and that's where the injuries happen. These injuries can range from light, minor scrapes to major incidents. And we have to be extremely cautious, because when falls happen from heights, the consequences can unfortunately be fatal. That's why understanding these simple movements is so critical to our safety. To really understand the hazards and risks we face, we have to look at the physics of how we move. Believe it or not, when we walk, we are actually in a constant state of falling forward. The only reason we don't hit the ground is because we stop that falling motion by placing one foot in front of the other. It's a controlled cycle. But if your lead foot doesn't grip and catch the ground firmly, it will slide forward, and you'll instantly lose your balance. In our work environment, that loss of balance isn't just a minor trip. It has the potential to be life-altering. We're looking at 4 major scenarios where things can go wrong. First, climbing or falling from ladders. Simple trips that lead to hard falls. Slips on slick or uneven surfaces. And the most critical, falling from high structures. When we're on the job, we need to remember that we're only one lost grip away from a serious incident. Now that we understand how we move, we have to talk about substandard conditions. These are the environmental red flags that significantly increase our risk of an injury. Think about the surfaces we work on. If they are uneven or slippery, our footing is already compromised. Then there's housekeeping. Clutter or debris in a walkway is just a trip waiting to happen. If you add a poorly lit workspace into the mix, you might not even see the hazard until it's too late. We also have to be honest about the gear and the physics involved. Working without proper fall protection or ignoring the potential energy created by working at heights is a recipe for disaster. Finally, it's not just about where we stand, but what we're doing. The constant forces on our bodies, the lifting, pushing, pulling, and even trying to restrain heavy equipment, put an incredible amount of strain on us. When you combine those physical demands with a poor environment, that's when the danger is at its highest. So, how do we stay safe? It starts with a simple but powerful habit: walk with your eyes. Before you even take a step, your eyes should be scanning the path ahead to spot those hazards we just talked about. Beyond that, we need to make effective risk assessments. This isn't just a paperwork exercise, it's a mental checklist. Ask yourself, what could go wrong here? And, am I prepared for it? Managing the work environment is our next line of defense. If you see a spill, clean it up. If a walkway is cluttered, clear it. We all share the responsibility of keeping the workspace organized so it doesn't become a trap for someone else. And finally, always use the appropriate control techniques. Whether that's using the right fall protection, choosing the correct ladder for the job, or using proper lifting forms, these techniques are the tools that actually keep us on our feet. If we stay alert and use the systems in place, we significantly cut down the risk of an accident. When we talk about risk assessment, it sounds formal, but it really boils down to 3 simple steps that should become second nature to us. First, plan the job. Don't just jump in. Take a moment to visualize the workflow from start to finish. Once you have that plan, you need to assess the risk by asking yourself 4 key questions. What exactly is the task? What are we trying to achieve right now? What are the hazards? Is the floor wet? Is the ladder shaky? Is there a heavy load overhead? What are the undesired events? In plain English, what's the worst-case scenario here? And most importantly, what are the controls? What specific steps are we taking to make sure those bad scenarios don't happen? The final rule is the most important one. Only proceed when the risks are fully understood and managed. If you have a question or something doesn't feel right, stop. We don't move forward until we're confident that we've accounted for the hazards. Safety isn't about moving slowly. It's about moving with a solid plan. Let's take a closer look at our work environment. When we assess the area, we need to focus on 3 main danger zones. First, there's height. This is our biggest risk factor. We have to be on the lookout for missing guardrails or any situation where we lack proper fall protection. If you're off the ground and those safety nets aren't there, the risk increases exponentially. Next, we look at the surface we're standing on. It's rarely a perfect, flat floor. We're often dealing with surfaces that are uneven, slippery from oil or water, or obstructed by tools and equipment. Any one of those can turn a simple step into a fall. Finally, we have to consider lighting. Inadequate lighting makes it almost impossible to see those uneven surfaces or obstructions. If you can't see the hazard, you can't avoid it. We need to identify these early so we can fix them before the work starts. To keep ourselves safe, we don't just rely on one single fix. We use a combination of control techniques that work together like a safety net. First, we focus on hazard control. This is how we handle the environment itself. Our goal here is to either eliminate or strictly limit slip and trip hazards before they cause an issue. And, of course, whenever the job calls for it, we use our fall protection equipment without exception. Second, we look at personal control. This is about how you move and handle yourself. We want to minimize the effect of those strong forces on your body, things like heavy lifting or sudden jerks, and constantly focus on maximizing your balance. If you're physically stable and moving with intent, you're already much harder to injure. By combining these two, staying personally balanced while actively managing the workspace, we create an environment where we can all do our jobs and go home safe. We've all been there. You're walking across a surface and realize it's slicker than it looks. When you find yourself on a slippery surface, your standard walking style has to change immediately to keep you upright. First and foremost, slow down. Speed is the enemy of balance when there's no traction. Next, try to point your toes outward slightly. This gives you a wider, more stable base. You also want to shorten your stride. Taking smaller steps keeps your center of gravity directly over your feet, which makes it much harder for a foot to slide out from under you. Finally, make wide turns. Avoid any sharp, sudden pivoting or jerky movements. If you treat it like you're walking on ice, staying deliberate and steady, you're going to stay in control. It might take a few extra seconds to get where you're going, but you'll get there safely. Moving on to stairs. It's easy to get complacent here because we use them so often, but on a job site, they require a bit more focus. First, always use the handrails, and specifically, try to use an underhand grip. This gives you much better leverage and a more secure hold if you do happen to slip. While you're moving, keep your line of strength in mind. Keep your body aligned and centered, so you aren't leaning too far forward or back. The pace is key here. Take them one step at a time. We've all seen people try to skip steps to save a second, but that's exactly how you lose your rhythm and your balance. And, of course, there is no jumping. Whether it's jumping off the last few steps or trying to clear a landing, it's a high-risk move that's just not worth it. Stay deliberate, use the rails, and keep your footing secure. Let's talk about housekeeping. In our world, a clean workspace isn't just about looking professional, it's a fundamental safety requirement. Most trips and falls are completely preventable if we just manage our space correctly. First, we need to store items properly. Tools and equipment should have a home. If they aren't in use, they shouldn't be underfoot. That leads directly into keeping walkways clear. A path should be a path, not a storage area. There are also the small things that are easy to overlook, like closing drawers. An open drawer is a classic trip hazard that people just don't see until they've hit it. We also need to be proactive about the environment itself. If you see damaged floors or carpets, get them repaired or report them immediately. Finally, secure your cords and cables. We deal with a lot of power and data lines, and if they're trailing across a floor, they're basically just traps. By staying on top of these 5 simple habits, we take the environmental luck out of the equation and keep the site safe for everyone. To wrap things up, let's talk about our daily occurrences. These are the small, repetitive actions we do so often that they become automatic, and that's exactly when a trap can catch us off guard. First, before you start moving, plan your route. Take 5 seconds to look ahead and inspect the path for any traps, whether that's a loose cable, a slick spot, or a stray tool. If you see a trap, don't just walk around it, clear it. Taking a moment to move a hazard out of the way makes the site safer for the next person coming through. We also need to be mindful of blind spots, specifically doors. When possible, doors should have windows so we can see what's on the other side. But regardless of the door type, you should always approach a doorway carefully from the opening side. Don't just barge through. Anticipate that someone might be coming from the other direction. If we treat these daily routines with the same level of focus as our high-risk tasks, we stop accidents before they even have a chance to start. Let's stay alert and look out for one another out there. Now, let's get into the specifics of personal control. This is all about using appropriate stepping techniques to keep control through power, balance, and stability while you're moving through the site. There are 4 key habits we want everyone to build. First, sidestepping. Especially on stairs or uneven ground, stepping to the side keeps your center of gravity more stable. Next is head alignment. Keep your head up and level. Where your head goes, your body follows. Stay in your safe working zone. This means keeping your tasks close to your body so you aren't overreaching and pulling yourself off balance. And the golden rule for climbing, 3 points contact. Always have 2 hands and 1 foot, or 2 feet and 1 hand, firmly on the structure. Finally, we have some hard rules for the job. Avoid reversing whenever possible. Walking backward is an easy way to trip. And it should go without saying, but never run or jump on site. Lastly, never climb down forward. When you're coming down a ladder or a structure, you face it. These are simple habits, but they are exactly what stand between a normal day and a serious injury. Let's focus in on climbing, specifically when we're using ladders. This is one of those areas where the math actually matters for your safety. First, remember the 4-to-1 ratio. For every 4 feet of height, the base of the ladder needs to be 1 foot away from the wall. If it's too steep or too shallow, the ladder becomes unstable. You also want to check that the ladder has its safety feet in good condition to prevent it from kicking out. Once you're ready to climb, it's 1 person at a time, no exceptions. As you move, maintain 3 points of contact at all times and follow a simple rhythm. Look, hold, and step. Look where you're going, get a solid grip, and then move your foot. A big mistake people make is trying to carry tools or equipment while they climb. Avoid carrying anything in your hands. Use a tool belt or a hoist line instead. You need those hands for climbing. And finally, just to drive it home one more time, never climb down forward. Stay facing the ladder all the way until both feet are back on solid ground. To bring everything we've talked about together, let's look at our stepping summary. At the end of the day, stepping is just a core part of how we do our jobs, whether we're walking across a deck or climbing a structure. Staying safe boils down to 5 key habits. Recognize the hazards, be aware of the potential energy, the heights, and the forces you're putting on your body when handling loads. Know the threats. Watch out for the balance killers like slippery surfaces and obstacles in your path. Visualize the outcome. Always think 1 step ahead. Ask yourself, if I did fall here, what would I hit? Visualizing the risk helps you respect the control. Utilize your techniques. Use the tools we practiced, 3 points of contact, your line of power, bracing, and using smart hands. Most importantly, don't rush. Manage your space. Take pride in your environment. Use housekeeping, guardrails, and fall protection to create barriers between you and an injury. If we keep these 5 points in mind every time we move, we aren't just following rules, we're mastering the skills that get us home safe every day. Thanks so much for watching. That wraps up today's presentation. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us keep creating more content like this. See you in the next video.